Okay, so that's working. That other glitch, yeah, that's something that will require a different script then, but for most of the times, your curves would intersect with each other twice. Okay, simple, clear, clean. All right, we're going to group that. That's one. That's the 3D intersection. Then we'll try to write the distances of all the segments in between it. So there we can do similar to what you guys recommended yesterday as well. We can shatter each curve on their values. So let me drop that down. I'll bring that in here. Can shatter each curve on its, what are we getting here? 5 planar curves, data. Let's quick look at the data structure. I'll graph these and I'll shatter them based on these values. Yeah. So now we get all our separate planar curves, and now I can just get the
No, you need to use it from trim tree.
I need to do what?
You need to use the trim tree output for parameter.
Did I not trim it yet here?
It's trimmed up there.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, I can use this one here. Yeah. Remove from group. Bring that in here. Okay, so now we have all our planar curves. Yes. These we can just quickly give a length. And then we have that information. I'm just going to scale that down a little bit just by rounding it down to 2. So that we have it rounded down. There's no need for higher precision anyway. And then we can just concatenate it with whatever we want to have. So I'm just going to put centimeters behind there. And then we're going to position that again on our curves on the particular location that we want to have. Evaluates. Well, I'll use the other one. Okay, so these curves, location, tag. Don't need the points. Yeah, so that should kind of work in yeah. Yeah, labeling everything. So that's the 3D parts. That's pretty straightforward. I mean, this is not a very difficult. This is a pretty basic script actually. Okay. Then for the 2D part, there, what I typically do is I redraw curves completely from scratch rather than straightening elements or trying to reorient or relocate things, just using the dimensions that you read up from the 3-dimensional setup that we have here. So what I'm going to do is, so we have these. Let me quickly see what I did here, so I'm making sure I'm not making any mistakes here. So what I'll do is I'll next to it just start a series of lines from an X origin, and then I'll space them out with a parameter that gives us a bit more control on how wide we want everything to be. So I start by measuring how many curves I have. List length, where are we? List length. So I have a total of 5 curves right now. I'll make a series of 5 with a particular spacing that I want to have. So let's say that's my spacing. And then with that, I'll start a series of lines. So lines starting points on the X direction that I have here, with the direction running in the Y direction, with a certain length, which is equal to the curve lengths of my original curves that I have here. So let's see where these are. If I zoom, oh, here. They're actually over here on the side. So, and then, because that gives me a little bit more flexibility about where to place things. Let me move them to the right a little bit. So I'm just going to move these over here, and then I can control their spacing over here in a straightforward fashion. All right, there we go, 20. All right, so those are going to be the curves that I'll be subdividing further. So that's the starting point. And then I'm going to basically measure the lengths that I have here from my curve segments, and I'm going to map those out onto my curves. What's a quick way to do that? Using the divide by length. Hold on. I should have prepared this a little bit better. Subcurve, curve divide by length. Okay, let me just go ahead. Let me just go at it. So I did a few things a little bit. Okay, I did it slightly different. I'm confused with the shatter button that we used last time, but I don't need to use that one again. I can just do subcurve this time. If I take my original curves here, and I do a subcurve based on these parameters that I have coming in, then I will automatically draw a curve from the starting point 0 to my first intersection, potentially the second intersection, potentially the third intersection that I may have. So currently here as an outcome, I would get 4 curves on, I need to trim something. Yeah, I need to trim this. Trim this tree. Okay. Okay, so now my first curve 0 is split into.
No, the curve needs to be grafted.
Yeah, they're not yet grafted. Yes. So curve 0, 0 is split into 3 parts. Yes, because it doesn't keep account of the final part over there. So it's the part from 0 to here, 0 to there, 0 to there. And then these ones, so what I can now do is I can divide by length. I can divide this line segment by this length, and then I always get the first, and then I only need to take the first point from this list to identify where I need to be. So if I do now item, list item, one here, I'll switch this off. And I'm wrong in my subdivisions probably. I think this needs to be grafted as well. Yeah, these need to be grafted. There we go. All right, so now you see my curve 0 split at the 3 points, curve 1 split at 2 points. Yeah, that makes sense. Curve 2 split at 2 points. And yeah, so I'm only taking the first intersection points all the time. So that works. And then, yeah, I need to put tags on there again. They're the same tags as before if we want, but let's just do it using the tree statistics again, coming from the left here. So I'm going to take the tree statistics coming from here. So these are all my pathways again that I need to place on there. And tag. So on this location, we can put this tag. And I need to graft or flatten something here, flatten this one, and flatten that one. Let me increase that a bit in size. Okay, so that works. So that's one way to do it. I'm gonna justify this in center or middle right. No. Doesn't matter. Okay, we'll keep that one in. Which one did I use here? Middle left. Just try middle left. Okay, that works. But now we can add the distance on there as well if we would want to. So because I have these distances measured earlier. So let's just put a concatenation in there. So I'm going to concatenate my path here. I'll add a semicolon between it, or semicolon and a space behind it. And then we'll add the distance behind it, which I have. I can just copy this thing here again. So curve length around 2. Is that the one? Let me just double check. Flatten this one. Flatten this one. Does that make sense? Let me just double check here. 0.4. Is that at 7.93? 7.93. Yeah, that's correct. And then we can just add centimeters behind that again. That will give us an easy read, and then I can just scale this down. Well, that's a quick way, and maybe we need to add a space in the beginning of it, just to set it off a little bit from our. Oh, come on, work with me. Just to set it off a little bit from the left as well. Space, okay. There we go. So that's a step that we have. So that makes it very clean. It's always 4-1 for it very clearly shows which curve you're intersecting. So that makes the labels quite easy and straightforward. I mean, this is standard. This is standard Grasshopper. So there's nothing really difficult there. I'll save it in a bit and I'll share it with everybody. There's nothing too much new over here. Now the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add the dimensions from the origin point, from the starting point here to the end point there. So let me again have a quick sheet there. So we can do linear dimensions, which is this one here. So what we're going to do, the lines that we're going to be working with are going to be these lines over here. We just need to always give it a starting point and an end point. The starting point is 0, then this one, then this one, this one. So I need to insert and the end point as well. So I need to insert my end point and my starting point in my list that I have here. So I can just take the endpoints from my curves. And then these I need to bring into these points lists over here. So let me have a quick look what that looks like right now. So that list, oh, am I correct? Yeah, I need to trim and simplify that one. Yeah, so those are the points that I need to have, that I have on my each of my curves. So I just need to merge these. I need to sort these points. Well, let's see what happens if I just merge them first. Merge this starting point, then my whole list, and then this one here. Come on. Okay. And then, so those are all the points that I need to connect with, and then I just need to, for the starting points, get rid of the last one, and for the end points, get rid of the first one. So I can just do col index 0. So all my starting points are these, and all my endpoints are the same, but just by reversing my list and getting rid of the last one, reversing it back, and let's see where we are. And that does not seem to work well yet, probably because these are not sorted. So if I sort my points here, this list and that list, and bring that in here. Is that correct? Oh, simplify, simplify. Something is up here, merge, my lists are not correct. Graft and graft. No. Sorry guys, this is less smooth than yesterday. Or let me just graft them over here. Simplify those instead. And not graft them. Not graft them, but simplify them. This should work. Now why is it? Oh, this one needs to be grafted as well, I think. Yes, that's why. There we go. Now we're there. Okay, yes. Always some issues with the data structure. So let me also scale this down now. And there we go. Yeah, so now we have the whole setup in place, which is quite clean and nice. So yeah, and then here, dimension size, yeah, dimension text. Okay, yeah, so that's it. That seems to be working. So now we have a very flexible setup where I can very easily control the spacing of all of them and their origin points. So that's a quick way to do, yeah, to make your annotation drawings. And these are the drawings that we then in the past gave to the contractors. Any questions here? It's pretty straightforward, normal grasshopper there. I don't think there's any real difficult parts. Anybody have any comments or questions? No, all good. Okay.
All good so far.
Okay, great, thanks. Then let me, so, I mean, orientation of these things are things that you can play around with, that you can change all the time if you want to. Actually, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do to beautify this or to make this perfect. Let me save this one. I'm going to keep this as a separate script. I'm going to internalize this data here, and I'm going to delete it from the left. I'm going to save this as a separate file, and then we can always combine them later. So save document as. Today we are the 29th. 4 sections unrolled. All right, save. And let me put that in the chat.